Hello and welcome to the Tinkle podcast. This is going to be part 2 of our sequelitis Texas Chainsaw Massacre version. We ended last episode spinning our little wheel of misfortune, our wheel of massacres, one would say.
Yeah.
And we landed on Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, the direct sequel.
Yeah, the direct sequel.
The
that came out 10
direct
years
sequel
after the first one.
To the original. With sequelitis, we reiterate, watch the original first, of course.
Yes.
And then from there, every movie afterwards we watch is going to be chosen by our wheel at the end of the episode.
Yeah, well, each one we're watching is when they say this is the direct sequel to the first one.
Where they essentially rewind the tape and they say we can do a little bit better. And yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, 1986 release. Pretty sure same director, Tobe Hooper.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
Could be wrong.
Could be
I'm
wrong.
not gonna look it up right now.
But yeah, let's dive right into our thoughts. We
I
just
just wanted to
finished the
say
movie.
one interesting thing, because I know the third one, which is called Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, is completely separate from any of the films. It seems like it's an entirely new family, entirely new Leatherface.
Is it on the wheel?
No, it's not on the wheel.
Why is it not on the wheel?
Because the thing was for retcons.
Yeah. Maybe after we watch
Maybe after
all
we
the
can watch,
retcons, we can watch it.
The
Because then we'll have the history down.
Yeah,
we'll
we
be
can
able
watch the
to
remake.
connect the dots.
The prequel that they have on here.
Yeah.
Called Leatherface.
Oh, fuck. But yeah, let's jump right into it. Should we start off with whether or not we liked it? Or should we
I'm
save
gonna
that to
say
the
that
end?
this one's my favorite out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series.
This one, we haven't even watched the rest of them, but I have not been like so happy watching a movie in quite a while.
Oh, and that's saying something because he's very picky
I'm
about his
so
films.
picky about movies. Like, I watched Smile, the new movie Smile that came out like...
Oh, my mom went to go watch that.
Yeah. I wasn't a big fan of it, but it did some interesting things.
I heard about that. I didn't want to watch it because it reminded me of Truth or Dare.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, it's freaking, smiling, like, hey.
Yeah,
Although Truth or Dare, it was like that filter you have, and it was like a super exaggerated. This one, Smile just seems slightly exaggerated.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to talk about Smile too much, but it's pretty much...
I haven't seen Smile.
I was going to say, with all the smiles, it's the actors doing, like, the biggest fucking smile that they can do. Which honestly gives it a very eerie feeling,
But it's
which
like
is
a
nice.
normal smile, just slightly tweaked, right? It seems...
Yeah, they
Well,
probably tune it. They, like, you know...
like, slightly tweaked
They what is it? Pool brush. They pool brush them
Yeah, well,
up a
Truth
little
or
bit.
Dare, I don't know if you've seen that or heard of it. It's just a big, like...
I don't watch movies,
Think
like,
of your
at all.
Snapchat filter when, like, you got, like, the big face.
And with that, it's nice watching these because it's like we're returning to an age before CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of practical and stuff back in the 80s, 70s, and early 90s where that was the way to go. It was the cheapest way to go. CGI was a thing, but it was very pricey.
I imagine it was very new, so it was like...
Very new.
If we try this, it's probably gonna look really bad.
Well, that's even the thing back then. They were like, oh shit, that looks amazing, because the idea of recreating it practically, it's like hours spent creating something compared to practicality.
Yeah, which I love practical effects more, especially when they're done well.
Yeah.
I guess I like good practical effects, because there's some like, oh gosh, that looks so cheap, like I can tell it's rubber.
Okay, so getting us right out of talking about our thing with movies,
yeah. So
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yeah, you said first retcon we were watching.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to that first retcon. I just want to talk about the first similarity between this and the first one, which honestly connects it more, and I'm interested to see if they keep going with it. But it starts off with a text scrawl as well. How do you feel about text scrawls besides Star Wars? Because Star Wars is where it came from. That's why movies do it in general.
I kind of feel like this came out before Star Wars.
Really? 1986?
Well, I mean, even the first one had a text scroll.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, no, okay, 19.
But then again, wait, was this text scroll read to us?
It was.
It was? Okay.
It was read to us.
I
I
can't
forgot to
remember
write
if
that
it
down.
was read to us or not, because I know the first one is read to us.
Uh-huh.
And it's saying that Sally, our final girl of the first one,
Mm-hmm.
was not found in the bed of a truck, but on the side of the road.
Yeah. This is the first retcon I was talking about, where it's like they keep the events of the first movie,
Yeah.
but they change how it ends to kind of give him a little bit more leeway on like, oh, but what happened to Leatherface? What
Maybe
happened
we're
to, like,
looking too much into it.
Maybe.
The side of the road could meant that like she's the when the truck driver found her.
yeah, exactly. It's more of less like, oh, at some point in her mad dash after she jumps out the first story window, they give up on trying to find her. But in the first movie, one of the brothers.
Well, the
died.
text scroll says that when they went there was no evidence.
Yeah.
So I don't think they pursued her because they were like, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Uh-huh.
Like we gotta like grab all the bones. We gotta clean this place up. Grab Franklin specifically.
Yeah. Get the fuck you, Charlie. Get the fuck you, Charlies out and throw them everywhere. We'll come back to that later. But
Yeah.
what a fuck you, Charlie is.
We
But
get- continue.
I was gonna say, with the, well, if we're retconning, like, if they're I don't know if we're looking too far into it or not, because if they're retconning like the fact that there was no evidence,
But
that
they
means
said that she told them. She told them what happened.
Yeah.
Where it was. They went there, but they found no evidence.
okay, but the brother dies at the ending of the first movie.
Yeah, they might have grabbed his body too. Who knows?
Yeah, I was gonna say they would either have to grab his body, like Leatherface grabs his body because he was there, technically, grabs his body, goes back home, and that's when they leave.
Well, wait. Is the truck driver that runs? Is it the same one that hits the hitchhiker?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Because I was gonna say maybe that truck driver's like just kept driving. They didn't even like. I'm not even gonna think about this. It's in the rearview mirror. I'm driving.
It's the rear
I
view
just
mirror.
killed a man. I hope that girl's okay, but I'm not gonna look anything into this.
But
I'm just gonna finish my.
yeah.
Right.
Finish my. Maybe he was tired, and
Yeah.
he's like, I just hallucinated all of that. I would have appreciated if they, showed us that recreation, like, or not showed us that recreation, showed us a recreation of their new ending, kind of thing. Because it is a little bit confusing having watched the first one, coming into this one, and you just get a text scroll saying like, yeah, no evidence, and you're like, what?
They had a contingency plan, man. I think they were smart enough that they were like, in case we ever do get caught,
yeah.
this is the plan.
But okay, but what we do know is that they move.
Yep, they move.
They move, definitely, because from like context clues in the first one, I'm thinking it was like somewhere southwest.
I think in the last one you said you think it was in Fort Worth. But
It was close to
in Fort Worth.
Oh, I thought it was northeast Texas.
I think that's they said where the killings are taking place, but doesn't this one take place Fort Worth?
I didn't catch any Fort Worths.
I should have wrote down if I.
Oh yeah,
got it.
definitely. But
I mean, my first thing is Sally is in a coma.
yeah, Sally from the first movie. That's also displayed to us through the text scroll.
Yeah, that she's in a coma now.
Yeah, which is interesting because we have a character in the story that is linked to the original kill.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second, but I'm surprised that they didn't use that at all.
Oh.
With
Well, I think he's the only one that believed Sally.
yeah, okay. But moving right on past the text scroll, I noticed there's an extreme focus on like music and bigger budget,
Bigger budget. There's
higher
more
quality,
character in this.
a lot more character.
Like even these first guys, I put here Grand Theft Party duo.
Yeah,
Because they're over there just with guns. His passenger's with a gun. And he's just shooting outside for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like going to a football game or something.
Yeah, they're going to a big fuck. I almost said the local college. They're going to a Texas college game or something that they're celebrating. Grab them by the horns, the whole Bulls thing. But
so it's after the game, or they're going to the game?
After the game. It's like a party kind of thing.
Yeah, and they're just out there having the time of their life. They're just shooting every sign they see.
But that is a very important scene, actually, which is what I was kind of getting to with something. Because at the end of the movie, the location we're in is implied, or actually not implied, totally said by the signs. So they were in the area of Leatherface and his brother, and that's why that whole interaction even happened, which was a weird thing for my brain to pick up.
I'm kind of unsure if the first truck that they like play chicken with,
it was them.
Was them?
It was
them. That
yep.
was the same truck.
Same blue truck. They. Oh, okay. Yeah. Want to dive into this?
Just full on spoilers.
Yeah.
These group of duos are just shooting signs and driving to play chicken with a car that turns out to be Leatherface's.
Yeah.
Then we're introduced to our main character. She calls herself Stretch.
Throughout the entire movie, we never
I don't
get
even
a
think
name.
we don't get her actual like name.
No.
We get like her nickname.
And
these guys call her, and in my notes right here, I put, so back then you couldn't what's the thing in Discord when you
disconnect
or I thought they had a fancier term, mute.
No, it'd just be disconnect.
You can't block someone.
Oh, you can't block a phone number.
They're just calling, saying all profanities, like, oh, we want to see titties and all this stuff, and the girl's like saying, okay, now hang up now, and they're not hanging up, and her camera dude, like her technician dude, is trying to like fix the problem.
I'm assuming they're amateurs.
Yeah.
Because I feel like at a normal radio station, it'd be like, button, you're gone, you're hung up on.
Oh yeah, that's why I was like, I guess back then he
was trying to figure it out. Like
the person had to hang up.
Yeah.
The first day on the job.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where the first killing happens in the movie. First,
well, actually, before that, because some time passes and now it's nighttime.
Yeah.
And they call her again. They call the radio station again. And I just put here, I guess she only has 2 viewers, because what are the odds that when you do the phone call thing, it's the exact same 2 guys you got in the beginning of the day?
Well, because it's radio, like, they just pick up all the calls. It's just whether or not you're on the air.
Yeah.
Because they were on the air the first time, is what happened.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that explains why no one heard.
Exactly. So when they call the second time, there's a song already playing, because you can, like, they get requests. That's their whole thing. So you request a song, and they go, all right, it's on the list, and then you keep listening to the radio, and then at some point they squeezed in. But they weren't on the air at that point. But I want to say during their whole action scene, like full-blown action scene of a truck driving backwards, car driving forward, side by side, and they
see a zombie.
I was gonna say, that's what I was getting to. Were you scared for a second that they were going for an insane hell zombie family design?
No, because I've seen this scene before, so this isn't like my first time watching this movie. I've seen clips. Like, I straight up,
it's revealed to be like a costume.
Like Leatherface is like behind, controlling the dude like a puppet.
Yeah, he pretty much he's like one of those baby backpacks on the front of this corpse. And I wrote down...
The corpse is holding a chainsaw.
I wrote down that I was, like, terrified that they were gonna make the whole family disgusting monsters. And not...
Like the way the grandpa looked kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. The pacing, so much better in this movie.
Oh yeah, so much.
We didn't even mention it in the first video, but the first movie, you can fall asleep during the first. It's a hour-long movie.
It's like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I think it's slow in the beginning, but it's short enough that
You don't really mind.
you don't really like it. This is almost a 2 hour movie, and I didn't film the 2 hours.
Exactly. So, but like it picks right up in this one compared to the first one, where the first 50 minutes is just pure dialogue almost, with a little bit of tension, scares,
Yeah.
all that. The actual music design, sound design was really good. I felt like the mic quality was better. I honestly, there was no point in the story where I felt like someone was muttering under their breath and I couldn't hear them.
I
Um,
mean that first one. I mean, we watching it now. It kind of looks like a found film. Like someone
yeah,
there was a cameraman like recording everything because it looks that old.
yeah. The dialogue in general, so much better than the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't repeat themselves as much.
I mean, are you sure?
Dude, am I sure?
Are you sure they don't repeat themselves?
They repeat themselves a little bit, but it feels
Good
like
night.
oh well. There's a goal. There's a goal to that dialogue.
Okay, yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Is like in the first one where he's talking about killing cows and stuff. He just kind of like repeats it over and over, which goes along with the metaphor that I was mentioning in that. Which, by the way, I no metaphors in this one.
Yeah.
No metaphors in this one.
This one's very 80s.
Yeah. More gore, a lot more gore.
Yeah.
It felt there was a continuity.
Which one?
Uh, with the action scene. I'm calling it an action scene because it isn't really scary because like there is no tension. It's just straight, their cars getting chainsawed up. They have a roof in one scene, and Leatherface kind of goes at their door, right? And then the next thing, the roof's gone.
I guess maybe that's to imply that he chopped off the roof.
Yeah, and but also like the head wound, all that. But we have our first two victims of the film.
And I wrote my notes here that the radio people, like Franklin, they were like, "Did we do that? Like, did you do something?"
Oh, when
because they're freaking out and because they don't know what's going on, they just hear like a chainsaw. They hear the guy even said it sounded like a buzz saw.
Yeah.
And Stretch is like, did we do that? Like, did you do something? Like,
Mm-hmm.
did you mess with like them and like it was their fault? Like something on their end
Yeah.
caused whatever happened to these guys.
It's very interesting.
And then, we get to the crime scene and we're introduced to. I just put Cowboy isn't a cop, and then I put Lieutenant because we find out he's a lieutenant.
Yeah, he is a cop.
Yeah.
He's a lieutenant for used to be a Texas Ranger. I loved I don't know why they only did it once, but there was a musical scene that they used where he's investigating the crime scene. He picks up the piece of wreckage, and there's the guy's glasses, which I don't know, like, we know it's the same people, but they do.
Well, we didn't see him die.
Yeah,
we
you're
see
right.
The one guy gets head chopped off. We can guess that after the car crashed, they grabbed him.
Yeah, but they do a musical scene there. It reminded me of every detective game ever. Just went with a little musical scene. I loved it. But there's a reason why Mr. Lieutenant
is so interested in
this. Which I appreciated. Did you like the fact that it is a continuation, and it does take 10 years. It's 10 years after the original.
Yeah, and they say that there have been like a shoestring of murders, like not like constant, but it's kind of like maybe every so often a murder happens.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's been investigating them because he believes that it's the people that. Because we find out that he is. I want to say the correct term would be the uncle. Because they say your brother's kids got murdered.
Yeah, I don't know why they say brother's kids, but they say he would be
your nephew and niece.
Yeah, he would be the uncle of Sally.
No, not Sally.
Pam.
Pam and Franklin. Pam and
Pam and
Franklin were
Franklin.
the brother sister.
Oh, you're right.
Because they say kid, so it's like, all right, so he's Pam and Franklin's uncle.
Yeah, yeah. But that's why he's so interested in this, and he's very intent on getting people to actually care, and no one cares.
Yeah, no one really cares.
Which is insane.
Yeah, 10 years after they found no evidence.
I also noticed something about this. This movie, we didn't mention it about the first one, but the first movie paints Texans in a very bad light. Like, everyone was a hillbilly, like...
you got a good point there.
Yeah, the hills have eyes kind of person. Like, everyone's just drinking constantly, and deformities, like, all the actors they picked... I don't want to be mean or anything, but there's just a couple that... They really were attracted to that. And I want to say it wants to go with the slaughterhouse.
Well, I mean, the first movie has a very, very small cast.
Yeah, very small cast. This one, very big cast, but I will compliment this movie nails Texans for some reason.
Texans in the 80s.
Yeah, Texans in the 80s. Everyone's got cowboy boots on, flannels, tucked in.
I put here when the guy's trying to get the lieutenant, like, off, like...
Yeah.
Because he even says, like... I think he tries to bluff him, but he calls his bluff, because it's like... I got the authority, I got the connections to get you on the next. He said, like, Amarillo, like, take you back to Amarillo right now.
Yeah.
Like, you go ahead and try that. And then, like, he backs down immediately.
Mm.
But he says something about that, like, oh, people are just like that. They're like, craving carnage. And I just put here, people want to purge.
People want to purge.
Like, he just thinks people want to purge.
Back in...
What all these murders are.
Back in the 80s, people wanted to purge. But,
And then I put when he called the bluff, like, damn, he's cool.
Damn, he's cool. They got the accents, Texan accents down pretty well, too, in this movie. But yeah, mostly everyone is pretty good looking. There was about like 100 or so extras, 50 extras.
A good amount of extras, because the next scene is a hotel room, and Stretch is at this hotel room, going to this hotel room and knocks, and we see the lieutenant, who he says his nickname is Lefty. He calls himself Lefty.
Yeah.
And I put here that it's been a while because he looks rough. Like,
yeah,
looks like he's got bags over his eyes.
He'd been drinking,
like,
too.
It's been a while that he's been in this area, like, trying to investigate this thing and probably, like, almost losing hope.
Yeah.
Because he tells the guy to put it in the paper, like, hey, if anyone has any leads. And I guess I don't know how long it would take for them to print a newspaper for it to get out enough for Radio Girl to eventually see it and then go.
Yeah, go to him. But yeah, they have their little conversation about the fact that she has a cassette recording of the phone call.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that.
She wants to be a true crimer person.
Yeah,
that's what I got. She's like, I don't want to be like Slothing. This would put me in big time.
She wanted to be like true Fox News, like actually report and like do good with her job as a radio DJ.
Even though radio DJs, I don't think they really like say the news.
Yeah, they don't really say the news. I found it so weird that she comes to him with possible evidence and he didn't even entertain it. He just told her to get out, pretty much.
Well, he tells her he doesn't want her, like, in the way.
Yeah, but even then, I thought it would be, like, a simple, like, hey, here's some evidence, and then, like...
him jump at it.
And yeah, and for him to be like, oh, thank you, go on your way. Thank you, kind citizen.
I mean, who knows? I mean, there might have been... this is me just spitballing own headcanon. Maybe he got a bunch of, like, bogus...
tips. Oh,
bogus tips.
Because, yeah, they were...
been there a while.
They were making fun of him in the newspaper as well. They were just kind of like, hackjaw, kind of... making a big deal out of nothing.
Yeah, and then we go to this... What would you call it? A fair?
It was...
kind of a fair?
Yeah, it was a fair. It was kind of like in a food court.
Yeah, and LG's making a fry house.
You wrote down the fact that LG made a fry house?
Yes.
Did you like the fry house?
Oh no, I just found it interesting because how, like... it was pretty big, so it was like, how long has he been making this fry house? Those fries are probably cold.
How many fries did it take for him to make that fry house?
Yeah, that too.
It was
and
like...
he seemed so proud, like, my fry house.
Yeah, he did you see him add like some sauce to the
Yeah,
chimney,
the chimney.
to make it like smoke.
And then I wasn't sure if he was a boss or not because Stretch is saying that the lieutenant is a hard ass, but then
Yeah.
LG thinks that she's talking about him. Like, I'm not a hard ass.
Maybe kind of a hard ass, but I got a soft heart.
Yeah,
Is what he says.
yeah.
He's just making a joke of that, but I put for that scene that they make Texas seem comical. Because it was like with the fries, it's like Texas portions.
Oh,
you
okay,
know? So
okay.
I was like, there was so much. This movie is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
This movie is insanely hilarious.
I'm gonna be honest, there was only like one point. I put it in my notes too. When we get to it, I put like, we're back to horror.
Yeah, exactly.
There's like one point that I'm like, okay, this feels like horror again. Like, not
But-
horror comedy, but like straight up like, this is a tense situation and would be scary if they had kept this tone.
Exactly. But, so we're at this fair. It's a chili cook-off.
Yes.
And LG and Stretch. I almost thought her name was LG and I forgot like his name, but his name's LG, her name's Stretch. They continue eating, they're having their time, and it's revealed to us, the audience, that the father from the first movie,
The
cook. I want to go back almost and look in the credits what his name is, what they put his name
I think they're all named by that one because when I watch other people talk about it, they say like the hitchhiker, the cook.
Exactly. I specifically wrote down.
If I remember correctly, it's the first time his name is mentioned.
Exactly. I wrote down
the Sawyers.
Drayton Sawyer, father's name revealed.
Yeah.
He wins the cook-off.
And this is when I put that they're freaking active in the community.
I wrote the exact same thing too. I said involved in the community, but it is.
He went from being the gas station to winning chili, and he's got his own food bus.
I was gonna say, do you think that in the first movie, you remember how you were telling me, do I think the meat in the fireplace was human meat?
Yeah.
It almost seems like this is payoff for that.
Yeah,
Where,
he is. He's.
Yeah, because it is heavily implied if you've seen the first movie and you know that this is the father, that the reason they always win the chili cook-off is because they pull an Eric Cartman. And they...
That's making you sound like humans taste delicious.
Apparently.
Feeding people humans.
They brush over that. They brush over that,
they do.
which is insane.
Well, I think it's you as the audience, if you've seen the first one, like, oh god, it's him.
Yeah.
He's like the only returning actor.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know if Chop Top, the other brother, was played by the same dude. They were supposed to be like twins. Because he's got the same energy as the hitchhiker, but I don't know if it's the same actor.
That's the thing. The burn on his face could have been makeup.
Yeah.
And they might have just gone a different route with how his look in this one. So it could be the same actor. That we'd have to go back. We'd have to go back and write down their names from the first movie, and
I mean, it'd be an easy cast of Texas Chainsaw,
Yeah, I guess so. A lot of humor in this movie.
Yeah, one thing I put when the dad wins this chili competition, they hand him the trophy. There's just chili smeared on the trophy.
They pour chili in the cup.
Shit, I think I missed that.
You missed that part?
Down.
Yeah, they pour chili on the cup at the top, and it flows over.
Okay, yeah.
I was a little confused when you mentioned that to me, because we did not pause at all during the first movie.
We did pause. Oh yeah, we didn't pause at all
during the first movie. This one though, there was a couple moments where I requested a pause. You didn't.
Yeah,
really
Quinn's
request a
like,
pause.
"You pause it, like."
I know it kind of like
collect myself like with what's going on.
Yeah,
right now.
exactly. There was a lot, but we cut to Drayton Sawyer, the father, in his food truck.
No, there's still more going on because the next scene we get is.
Oh, you've got more notes than me.
Lefty buying the chainsaws.
Oh, okay. Honestly, I enjoyed that scene way too much that I didn't write any notes.
Yeah, Lefty goes to a chainsaw store where it's like
the
The chainsaws are just up on display, like they're all out in the open. Anyone can grab them, and they have gas in them.
They all have gas in them. He goes and buys chainsaws with he buys 3 chainsaws
for like $700.
For $700.
I don't know if that's the exact amount, but when I was trying to count the dollars,
it was $700.
We didn't pause it. It was like 700.
But he buys 2 handhelds and 1 big hefty.
We don't really see him grab the big hefty. We see him grab the 2 chainsaws. Oh wait, no, yeah, he's using the hefty in the next scene.
Yeah, he uses the hefty in the next scene.
I just put, behold the power of 2 chainsaws.
But he takes the chainsaws outside, and they have a log that they let you cut.
The cook even says, like, you want to test them? They got gas.
Yeah. And my man, Lieutenant Lefty, starts hacking away at this log with the chainsaw. Did you find it weird that the owner
was the clerk was just super into it?
Yeah, he was having a laugh, I want to say.
Yeah, he's just like super into it, like, yeah, this is a man that loves chainsaws.
So it's obvious at this point that Lefty has a plan. I almost felt like it was a red herring for audience members to be like, he's involved somehow.
No, I think it's that Lefty's ready to go on the offensive.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I wrote any notes, but...
Well, because he knows what he's going to do next.
I don't think I wrote any notes for this scene, but he eventually does go back to Stretch and tells her to play the audio that they got on the killing on the air. Because
the killers are here.
Yes, in northeast Texas.
Yeah.
And that's when we find out that the Sawyer's got a food truck, and they know now that there's evidence against them.
Yeah, I was gonna say they had enough budget to get stunt coordinator, because that burnout spin not burnout spin, but that burnout drift that he does in the food truck, very risky. I felt like it was gonna tip over. It
does kind of like
exactly, but it just takes that a little bit more, and it's gone. Right, I was worried, but so the Sawyers at this point, which we should mention that how he learns that information.
He gets a phone call.
He gets a phone call from his 2 sons.
Yeah, and he's like, I told you not to call this number.
Mm-hmm.
It also seems like they all do their own thing. But the dad, everything his boys do is just, like, messing up his stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Because even the first, like, I told you not to go to that graveyard.
Mm-hmm. But
it's very, I didn't mention this in the first one I wanted to, but it's interesting that it's just the idea of, when Sally goes to him, and, when they have that little scuffle, he's, like, afraid to go at her, like, he's very, like,
which
like, cautious, the cook one, like, when he knocks the knife out of her hand, because he's very, like, calm down, like, kind of scared, which is funny, because, I think it just kind of blows your mind that once you finally go there, you find out he's in on it, and he just, like, yells at Leatherface, this guy that we've seen kill everyone so far in the first movie, and he's just, like, beating him, and Leatherface is scared of him.
Yeah, he controls Leatherface. He can't control other people like he does Leatherface.
Well, no, I guess it's just, like, the interesting thing is, like, oh gosh, this guy that we just saw kind of scared to, like, go at Sally is beating this dude that we just saw manhandle these other 2 people.
Yeah, you're like, there's something in Leatherface's mind that could, like, just flip a switch, and he could just choke out his father.
And they play it on the radio station, which, actually, you know what, now it makes more sense now that you say, like, there was no, build up to it, like her saying, like, we got a murder.
Yeah.
Because it's a radio station, it's gonna be like, this is the next one from Quentin, and this is his favorite song, he says, and then they play it. They just say, like, this is the request this guy made.
This is a request from Lefty. Just screams, gunshots, and chainsaws.
Yeah, this whole thing, and I just put, like, what the fuck was that station? Like, everyone listening.
Oh, okay, can I... So, wait, I'm kind of having a realization here. Do you think she played it multiple times? Because when Drayton gets the call, it's day. And when we see her play it, it's night.
Possibly.
And she does it like as her second to last song.
Well, she's like there all day. Maybe she played it every hour on the hour.
Yeah, as a request from Lefty. So I actually just realized that that must have been really weird day for that radio station for people that listen to it.
We don't see it happen. It's kind of like it is very hard to believe that. Well, actually, no, because we learn because the Sawyers go to the radio station and
Sawyer.
Yeah,
we'll say for now.
we meet another brother who has very similarities to the hitchhiker, and he says that they love radio. That like they say that she specifically are their favorite radio station to listen to.
Yeah, him and his brother both.
So it's not hard to believe that they were listening and heard that.
Definitely.
And like, oh damn, that sounds like that guy we killed yesterday.
Yeah. That whole scene where LG leaves and stretches at the radio station by herself, and then she hears a noise, she goes checks it out, normal horror story, stuff. I was almost half expecting it to just be there, scare, chase, all that. But she actually just kind of has a very tense conversation with this brother, which was...
Well, she tries to remain calm in most situations.
Yeah, I wrote down it was...
Rubber Ducky? Mr. Shark?
Yeah, it was way more suspenseful than most horror movies that I've seen, because usually it's scare or a little bit of suspense.
Like she'd be walking around, then the scare happens, and now we're to the chase.
Yeah, but they have a very tense conversation where.
But he's there, he's saying like, "Oh, I wanna be on the radio," and it's like, "Well, we're closed. We gotta come back tomorrow." But he just keeps insisting and keeps talking and creeping her out. But she's trying to remain calm in this situation.
And he shows off that he still has his self-harm habits. He has this new one where he has a wire hanger that he heats up.
I kind of feel like he just gets like ghost stitches with his metal plate.
A little Phantom Pain?
Yeah.
It could be that, but he also, he like, bits of skin or anything that comes off, blood.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. Even even after the fact, he like picks at it a little bit, which is just another like layer of weird and scary to him, I guess. But if the movie ended like there, that would have been my favorite scene. That whole build up to
the fact that he kind of points her to the record room too.
Yeah, to the Leatherface reveal, which I thought was beautifully done.
The jump scare.
It was a really well done jump scare, and it turns into a chase, and it was just so well done. I found it interesting that they even went to the radio station. Like, it makes sense
like
story-wise.
Went there.
Yeah, it makes sense story-wise, but this is like the first instance of them seeking out their victim instead of just the victims fall in their lap.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. In that, with the same way that we got the reveal of the father's name, in the first one, Leatherface is never called Leatherface.
No, they don't. They just call him Boy and stuff.
Yeah.
No, the dad just calls him Boy.
Yeah, in this one, in that scene in particular, the hitchhiker brother, I don't know what we call him.
I think it's the third brother. His name's Chop Top.
Chop Top?
Yeah.
Oh, is it Chop Top? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't catch his name.
Hearing other people talk about it.
Yeah. He calls his brother Leatherface.
He does. I feel like Leatherface is like an actual term now.
Yeah, I got Leatherface gets his name, but we have. Oh my gosh, there's so much to talk about.
Actually, no. Before that, I put when she's talking to him, I put play longer, live longer. When she's trying to like just regularly talk.
Yeah, because all as far as she knows, it is the killer, but he's unarmed, no chainsaw, no nothing.
Do you think she already suspects that this is the killer?
Oh yeah, definitely. Can we also mention
the good night?
Good night. Good night.
Well, yeah,
good
she
night.
tries leading him out because he says to give her a tour. She shows him a bunch of stuff, like random miscellaneous stuff that maybe they used on the radio station,
Yeah.
and he'd recognize like Mr. Shark,
Armadillo.
Like, and
Flower.
that's the exit sign. And
What
then
am
they say
I?
goodnight to each other a bunch of times.
Yeah. Yell at each other. But can we talk about the characterization of Chop Top?
Yeah.
So, and my weird, I don't know what the fuck's going on with this right now, retcon kind of moment where I was confused.
Oh yeah, you thought it was the hitchhiker.
Yeah, I thought this Chop Top, this hippie looking, self harm inflicting guy, was the same brother from the first movie.
They got freaking pancaked by a truck.
Yeah, that got pancaked by the truck at the end. Because it is revealed after Leatherface.
Well, yeah, when Leatherface pops out, I think I put friendly fire.
Yeah, Leatherface pops out of this dark record hall after the lights turned on and starts chasing Stretch. But as he's leaving, he scrapes his brother's head with the chainsaw. I thought he was dead.
You thought he died there?
I straight up thought he just died, and I was like, oh shit, we're at the end of the movie.
Like, friendly fire.
But it's revealed that he has a metal plate in his head.
Yeah.
And that immediately got the gears turning in my head, because I was like, it wouldn't be too abnormal for a movie to jump the shark. This was my jump the shark moment.
This does jump the shark.
Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of does jump the shark. But
like, not too far, like, not jump the shark, like, oh my gosh, this is terrible, but it's kind of like...
Leatherface.
Where this is such a different flavor to the first one.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you watched these, like, if you had never seen these before and you watched these, like, back to back, like, in the same day, you'd be kind of confused, because first one's got that horror vibe, this terrifying vibe, and this one, right from the get-go, you know, like, this one's a bit funner.
Yeah, the first one's exhausting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
With horror, because, like, horror... It doesn't scare me.
It's an old movie. It's a product of its time.
Yeah, it doesn't scare me. But like Evil Dead, I love Evil Dead.
I'm sure back when it came out, it was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this. This is freaky.
Yeah,
but exactly. We've seen so much. It's like,
yeah, but it's revealed he has a leather plate, and I thought this was the jump the shark moment because I thought that they somehow got their brother's body back, and either he was like partially alive, mostly dead, you know, and like took him to a hospital, and then had his skull kind of like.
I guess they could afford it because apparently,
yeah, they have money,
thousands of dollars.
They have
with this chili business,
big boy money, but had his skull reconstructed with a metal plate. But as me and Chompy both kind of talked about it because we did have to pause the movie because I was.
Yeah, that's when you told me to pause it.
Yeah, this was a moment where, like, if I didn't get this figured out, I was not going to finish this movie. Was talking with the time frame that the movie set in, and how he talks about Nom. Because with that little hit to his head, he's kind of getting Nom flashbacks, as he says. He's going back to Nom.
I guess we don't know if he's truly one. I guess maybe the metal head plate kind of clarifies that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he honestly could have been to Nom.
Did Nom were there? What did people get
drafted?
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. So I guess there's huge possibility he had.
You ever seen Strawberry Fields?
I have not.
I think there's a whole thing in this where a guy is talking about how he's gonna like fake a sickness to get out of the draft, and it doesn't work. You should watch that. I think you'd enjoy it. It's a musical.
Oh really?
Yeah, with Beatles music.
Oh.
I think it's called Strawberry. It's called Strawberry. I swear it is. But he most likely probably got blown up by an IED. He makes references to Ho Chi Minh, or the Vietnam radio talk lady, and napalm. He makes tons of reference to napalm.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like this is a third new brother.
Yeah.
And that's where we kind of ended that conversation on the pause, and I was able to continue with the movie.
Yeah, because I thought the same thing when I first saw stuff about this. I saw the man play it. I'm like, so wait, the guy that got hit by the truck survived the first movie? And I found like, oh no, I guess this is an entirely new brother. Another new brother that could have been off in the war.
Yeah. But after his whole thing, because this movie likes to linger on multiple characters. Because
And repeat. Because I put here when she says they live on fear, because that's what.
well, she's telling herself.
Yeah, but that's what freaking Lefty tells her. They live on fear.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Lefty said that. But we go to the chase. There is an insane amount of use of actual environment and the scene in general. Because in the first one, I really didn't feel like the house was a character. But in this one, with our two main locations, it is definitely a character.
Shit, you're right. I didn't realize that there's really only three, like, four locations.
In this?
Yeah, there's the radio station,
Uh-huh.
the hotel that she goes to,
Uh-huh.
where the chili contest takes place, and then where the final act takes place.
Exactly. And I honestly I like that about it, because the first one there's only two locations, and one of them is not even used at all.
I mean, the gas station.
Yeah, okay, so three.
Gas station, the
Gas-
abandoned house that.
And then
their
the
parents,
Sawyer's
and then
house.
The Sawyer's house.
And the abandoned house isn't used whatsoever, which is insane. I guess it's technically a location for them to be safe in.
Yeah.
But they use the gas station, the Sawyer's house, of course. But even then, the Sawyer's house, you only see 3 rooms.
Yeah.
Well, you get to see the upstairs too. You get to see the dining room, a little bit of the back room, and the upstairs. That's like.
Do they go into that red room?
No, that's what I'm saying. You get to see a little bit. You
Because
get
when
to.
that girl's running and he grabs her, he takes her to the kitchen, but we don't get to see. Because that room that Leatherface comes out is like the most colorful.
Yeah.
Because you open the door, there's a red wall,
and it's covered in cow skulls.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah, it wasn't used at all. We just get to like look into there is pretty much it. But here with this chase, we're going from like room to room. There's cardboard and everything's being torn up. Lights are getting hit. It was so well done. I'm like, are they using a real chainsaw?
I remember you said that.
Yeah.
I put here when she grabbed the fire extinguisher and sprayed it at Leatherface and it worked. I put okay, tools and an extinguisher super effective against Leatherface.
Wrenches, hammers. Yeah.
Wrenches and extinguishers are super effective.
Yeah, it definitely phases him a little bit. But she locks herself into this very heavily barricaded metal room, which I have no idea why. Oh, I guess it's like soundproofing kind of thing.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
But Leatherface can't get through it at first.
But also that connects to where like people would come in, so it's like kind of keep them out from like barging in live on the radio and saying some shit.
I guess possibly, and then I put LG comes back.
Yes.
And LG gets killed because I put here that he spits when he gets hammered. When he starts getting smacked with the hammer, he spits.
Yeah, I feel like we should talk about LG as a character a little bit. Very cowboy, like, they really tried to personify him, and they did a really good job. But really, you could just round it up and he's a cowboy, Texas cowboy that spits in general. But I felt like he was trying to spit in his face, in Chop Top's face.
I don't know, because that ending scene before he died, when he's on the verge of death.
Yeah, yeah.
When he starts getting hit, I even put here, LG can take a hit because he's not dead, like the guy in the first one that went down after one hammer swing.
Yeah, well...
He's getting hit multiple times.
You also gotta
LG
think...
still looks...
This is Chop Top hitting him. In the first one, it was Leatherface.
But you see all the blood around him and how many times he's hitting him?
Yeah.
And he's still, like...
Oh, yeah, he can take a beating.
And, like, shaking. Like, damn, he could take a hit.
But, so as Chop Top's dealing with LG, which is most likely why he never went back there with Leatherface, Leatherface breaks through a fucking wall. Like I said, using the environment, because he's like, I can't get through this giant metal door. He just burst. He doesn't even chainsaw it. He just like fucking walks through it. But he gets into the room with Stretch.
Drywall.
He gets into the room with Stretch. Yeah, drywall. That's where like we have the most interesting part of this movie, in my opinion, where they really try to give Leatherface human characteristics. Like, they actually try to make him a human under there. Is he... I just remembered the beer bath.
Oh, she's just screaming, and he's not even like lifting it like towards her.
Yeah,
like,
he's
to,
like
he got stuck on the beer, like on the beer.
To me, I interpret it as him enjoying the sensation of like just chainsawing ice and beer. But it's one of those metal cow troughs.
Yeah,
and
with
ice, water, bunch of beer, but Stretch is stretched on top of it, kind of legs out, splayed, and she's like barely not falling in, and Leatherface is just going hard on ice and beer.
I put here because she tries to sweet talk him.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just put here like fake some Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
And I put chainsaw equals dick.
I was gonna say, is it mommy problems that Leatherface has? Cause
I think this is the first time a woman's just kind of like
good,
like onto him, like
good. Yeah.
Because even here I put Leatherface comes for the first time.
I kind of was thinking that too. Yeah. We get a very erotic scene with the chain. Like, the most erotic thing I think you can do with a chainsaw is, like, unrev, just, like, pressing it up against...
And he's, like, slowly bringing it up.
Yeah, slowly
he's just,
bringing
like,
it up.
looking at her.
The more, like, delving more into his human side kind of thing, Leatherface decides to let her live.
Yeah.
I put...
After he comes.
Yeah, after he comes. I felt like he still had frustrations, though, after that.
Well, I think, like you said, I think he did it to make Chop Top think that scuffle was going on.
Yeah, but I put...
Unless he's just like, what the fuck is this feeling? And just starts like...
Yeah.
I don't understand!
But Stretch escapes just from being Leatherface's.
Yeah.
Essentially. And,
I mean, it's kind of humanized in the first one, but I kind of feel like Leatherface was left at home and he kills these intruders because they do just barge into his home. His home. He's like, who the heck are you? And he kills them, and they're like, oh god, when Dad gets home.
Mm-hmm. There was panic.
Yeah.
In what he was doing.
Like, they are never gonna let me stay home alone again.
Mm-hmm. That's a funny way to put it. Do you think the hitchhiker was like the bad brother?
Yeah.
He's running away from home, doing dumb shit. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he even said, like, I told you not to leave your brother home alone.
Oh, yeah. But, Leatherface and Chop Top take LG's body.
LG's body, though.
A bonus body.
Yeah. And the girl, she could go off scot-free right now if she wanted to.
Yeah, she could live.
She could have lived and left,
life.
but no, Stretch is a badass.
Stretch is a fucking badass.
She takes the call to action. She's like, no, I'm taking this call.
Yeah.
And follows them.
Yeah, gets in her car and follows.
And I imagine Lefty was outside when this was happening, or...
Yeah.
Because he must have followed her too.
Mm-hmm.
Followed her, following them.
Okay.
Unless he got there just at the end of it, like, oh, geez.
Yeah. I'm assuming he was nearby, watching.
Yeah.
Isn't that...
Waiting for them to come out to...
Was that his red car?
I don't think
Or was that LG's red car?
He didn't have a red car.
Because
It was LG's, I think.
Okay, they hung on it for a second, which I thought was weird. They can...
But we didn't even see... it. I mean, if it would have turned on and...
No, yeah, with no driver in it.
Like, there was no driver in it.
Convertible.
LG's car.
Okay, that makes sense. But, she follows them for a while.
She does.
They get on a highway.
But you know what? Props to her, because when stuff happens with friends, it's like, okay, I mean, before phones, it's like, okay, just follow me, and you have to follow on a highway.
Uh-huh.
It's stressful as hell.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know what? One car is like, goes, it's like, oh, geez, I don't know where they're at now.
Uh-huh. Midnight. 1980s.
Well, I guess the general following someone in a vehicle.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have GPS, you don't know where you're going.
Well, I imagine Leatherface and Chop Top don't want to get pulled over by the police, so they're probably going the speed limit.
Yeah.
Imagine that Leatherface in the passenger seat. Just like doing his pig squeals and stuff from the first movie.
Which is that I mean, no pig schools in this one.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, 10 years, maybe he got more verbal, learned
Mhm.
more, who knows? Nah, it's like, it was probably quiet cars, like, ah, oh, damn, that radio station we listened to.
Yeah.
See him no more.
uh, uh,
So the car ride was maybe just in silence.
maybe just in pure silence or excitement. They had a bonus body.
Oh, yeah.
But as she's following them,
Which is interesting that he says that Leatherface, he asks her if he killed her, but they take the body, but it's like, go get the chick's body.
Oh,
he doesn't tell her to go grab her
that they
body.
just leave it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is interesting, but I feel like it's because Chop Top talks about um LG having a lot of meat stuff, so I feel like they didn't necessarily want too much.
Yeah, and Leatherface lies to Chop Top.
Leatherface lies to Chop Top.
He says like, yeah, he like nods in agreement that he killed her,
yeah,
but he didn't.
Yeah, a little
because he wants her to live
back at the radio station. But as Stretch is following them, it is revealed with signs that they're going to a Alamo,
like an abandoned Alamo.
I don't think it's abandoned. It's also like a battle park, which brings to question like all the outside stuff. I imagine it's a whole like remember the Alamo. I'm imagining it's like a paintball place. I imagine yeah, I imagine like it's one of the Sawyer's side gig where they run.
They must have a lot of side gigs.
Yeah, where they
gas station. He runs a chili thing. That dad's an entrepreneur right there.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, the intro. This is where I was telling about the intro reveals where the final location's going to be, because all the signs they shoot are about the Alamo Battleground place.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why they're in the same area, because it's literally outside of their house. That they're shooting all these signs.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I took a mental note, because at first I was like, oh, it's telling us it's in Texas, because remember the Alamo, haha, funny, right? But then it's used later on to be like, no, that's where the killers are.
Yeah, she follows them, and then a car starts like coming towards her, and she thinks it's them, and she starts freaking out. But turns out it's Lefty.
She pulled the fucking running in a straight line from something trope too, which was funny to me.
Which I think she could have ran to the side because they're like in this like it's like
it was
like a rib type thing that it's like, you know, I don't think it could have easily, like if she took a left it wouldn't, because they seemed very close to each other. It's like that car can't squeeze between these.
Yeah, they were like big plastic tube kind of things. Yeah, white big plastic tube things to look like a rib cage. I don't know, the setup,
I don't know exactly what it was or what it would be in the Alamo.
Yeah, the whole thing was really interesting. They had a lot of interesting statues and stuff of like, and murals about the Alamo. it makes me think about like, what do Texans think of the Alamo? I know what they think of the Alamo, but like stuff like that with the Alamo. But yeah, it's revealed to be Lefty, and Lefty reveals that the reason
he used
used her because he knew that
they'd go after her.
They would go after her at the radio station. One of the biggest. We bursted out laughing at this, but
we didn't see it coming.
We didn't see it coming. A trap door opens under Stretch,
like perfectly where she is.
Yeah.
Too.
So, do you think that is a way for them to get like a little extra meat on the side? Because if they're running these gigs and like a fucking kid runs into one of these and goes down, because they've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah,
like, all
10 years since the first one,
and multiple. And
they're pretty good set up shop here.
Yeah. So it's like, and with the way it works, where it just leads them down pretty much directly into Butcher Pit. Yeah.
Possibly. Maybe that's just so they don't gotta take it all the way down.
Yeah.
Because I put here when Lefty's going through there, like he's going through a freaking Legend of Zelda temple.
Oh,
Because it takes him a while to get down there
you
to
think
where
they
they're
just
at.
dump bodies through
Yeah.
it sometimes?
I think it's so they don't gotta
Okay.
carry it all the way down.
That makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, I just put the gates of hell open and take her, and then she has a fun fall.
Lefty does try to save her.
Yeah,
We should also
with a arm.
with a skeletal arm. I couldn't tell if it was like a prop or like a prop.
Like an actual was meant to be an actual person's hand that they have there.
No, like a prop for the Alamo setting.
Oh.
Remember like I couldn't tell if he like grabbed it was like.
Well, I mean more reach, but
Yeah.
at the same time that thing's so brittle. Of course
Yeah.
it's gonna break, and she's gonna have a bad fall, but she has fun doing it because we laughed here. At one point, she's like, "Yeah!" Like
I imagine it was dubbed over, right? But the noises that the actress makes, no shame on her, because it's hard to do noises like that, especially if you're trying to keep them like different and coming. But yeah, she hits with a couple happy sounding moments.
Fun
Yeah,
tumbling down this.
Yeah.
Slide.
But she drops right down into their butcher pit.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, which we, for the first time in so far, I mean, if this is the direct sequel, it's the first time ever for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but we get to see Leatherface actually do prep work with a human body.
We kind of saw prep work in there,
but
it was more like our focus is on the chicken, Leatherface is on the side sawing into the guy.
Yeah, but even then, that's like, I guess, quartering. Like he was quartering Leatherface, quartering the one guy. But this one, he's skinning. Well, not even as a small little chainsaw. Not it's a peeler.
Yeah.
Automatic peeler. But yeah.
And this is the part I put because Lefty goes inside. Like guns, like he's ready to go, guns a-blazing. He's like,
yeah,
like
Lefty
he runs in yelling.
Lefty has a full cowboy holster setup with extra chains.
Yeah, you pointed that out.
Yeah, he has extra chainsaw chains, I guess you would call them.
Yeah.
On his holsters, he's got leg sheaths for the small holsters, and he's got the big boy in his
hands.
How
much would that weigh?
Big boy?
Well, no, because he's carrying 2 chainsaws, 1 big chainsaw.
I would say.
Would that be a lot of weight?
It's okay. So with small ones, it's like a mini generator, like a small engine.
Because I mean, when I tried out HVAC, I mean, we didn't have chainsaws, but we had like the buzz saws, like the thing with the grinder on, and the one that my like dude that I was working with gave me like is like this is freaking kind of heavy.
Yeah, I would say it's like 10 pounds for the small ones, and the big ones
really?
probably like 20, 25.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, exactly. It would be insane.
I mean, I'm not an expert on chainsaws, so I don't know how much.
And you got to think about gas being in there.
Yeah.
Because gas does add on a little weight.
But he comes across, it's like a picture leaking blood.
Yeah, it's a mural of the Alamo leaking blood, which.
And I guess that's where they put like their livers and stuff because it just like drains out a bunch of.
Yeah.
Body parts.
Liver, stomachs, stuff that they don't want.
They don't want, or
yeah.
why, I don't know. Why
it would be bad to eat.
Possibly, yeah. I don't know why they put it there though.
I know, it was a very interesting way. But yeah, we've come to see actually
after that Lefty just goes crazy, like he starts cutting, like as he's going he's cutting each
it's a mine shaft, essentially.
It's a mine shaft, and he's cutting each
support beam. Yeah.
Beam. Yelling at the top of his lungs. This is when I was like, they're pretty far down there because they don't hear none of this.
He went full.
That's why I put like he's going through a temple, and she just got a shortcut down to the boss stage.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't write any notes on the actual. It was such a cool scene, the butcher room scene. I didn't write any notes on that.
Like the final act horrors back because that part just seemed really scary when she's hiding there behind the thing and Leatherface is slicing into the guy.
Yeah.
Like, he slices. It's the first instance I think when we see him slice someone's face off
Yeah, in the movie,
in
slice
like the
someone's face off.
franchise.
Yeah, exactly. But she is absolutely terrified
Yeah.
by seeing this and makes a noise.
And Leatherface finds it. We find out Leatherface's name is Bubba right here.
Bubba, yep.
And he's kind of happy and also concerned that she's here.
Yeah, his glances towards the door, making sure no one's like coming. He's obviously showing us non-verbally that he's worried for her.
Worried for her, but it doesn't stop him from trying to dance with her. He dances with her.
You're skipping a big part in there.
I mean, okay, continue. Do you have any notes on the before?
Well, I mean, Leatherface, after cutting off LG's face, keeps it in his hand, finds Stretch, and then before their romantic dance, I swear, maybe it's like some like connection that he wants to have.
For, like first, and then
he puts LG's face on her,
and then a cowboy hat,
and then they have a romantic dance.
Where Stretch is just having the worst time. She's just like crying during this dance.
It was honestly probably for most people the most horrifying part of the movie.
I feel like the most horrifying part is when he's cutting into it and she's hiding behind
suspense.
That's when I felt like Harvey's back, like she's here witnessing this.
Yeah.
And she's terrified.
Yeah.
And this actually like Leatherface seems
scary.
Like scary right here.
Yeah, gotcha. But that scene is probably gonna stick with me for a while.
He dances with her, then he ties her up.
Ties her up there.
He
wants to keep her.
Yeah, he wants to keep her. And then we find out LG ain't dead yet. And he does one more spit. There's one more spit. That's why when he did that, I'm like, oh my gosh. That's like, so now my first note wasn't like a waste. He like purposely does these spits for some reason.
Yeah.
And he's a trooper. He's skinned alive, but he's not like in pain. He's very calm.
He's like missing a part of his rib skin. He's missing like most of his leg, all of his face.
He feels no pain, and he calmly talks to her like, out here. I forget what exactly
he says, "Darling."
Yeah.
Because she didn't like being called darling. He's like, "Darling, okay, darling.
Yeah.
You'll be okay." All this kind of stuff. And then he grabs a knife, and there's a little red herring where they're like, "Is he stab her on accident?" Because I don't know. A whole psycho kind of scene. But he cuts her free.
And then he dies.
Yeah. And then she takes off his face, because the entire time this is happening, she's still wearing his face. And also his last words were shit as he died.
Yeah.
Right before he dies, he says shit. But she puts his face back on him, which is kind of a respect thing. Is kind of a respect thing, but it is so hard to keep a straight face when you're watching that. Gives him the cowboy hat, and
yeah,
that's it for LG.
Then we go back to Lefty, who's still just running like a madman, just yelling, cutting each support baby comes across.
Yeah,
that's why I'm like, he's in the beginning of the dungeon because they are unaware of his presence until he gets to them.
And then we cut back to Stretch, and she gets a glimpse of, not a glimpse, well, pretty much the whole thing, but she gets a glimpse of like what their living situation is like, and they went from rags to riches.
I think so.
Yeah, it's 10 years of bones catacombs. If you tried to count how many bones, skeletons, things, like if you just human skulls in general, it's in the hundreds, and it was insane to me with like the design of it. A lot of the bodies that you see are references to movies and just comical setups.
I didn't notice that.
Well, there is a Doctor Strangelove reference which is the skeleton who's hanging from the ceiling. He's riding a nuclear bomb, and he's got a cowboy hat, and he's got one hand in the air.
I did not notice that.
There's a part later on, but I'm gonna mention it now, where she's running and like she looks off at the skeleton's side. There's a group of 3, and they're all set up like they're sitting at the beach. Like it's so weird. Like I want to know if like they prop up bodies.
They
to
do.
Be like, well, just to be like, well, yeah. They prop up a lot of bodies in funny ways, so they're obviously.
Maybe also Leatherface was also an artist. He also messes with the bodies and does things.
The Doctor Strangelove one really got to me. That was insane.
I didn't notice it, man.
We should, after this podcast, rewind and show you that, and probably show you the beachgoer ones.
I think there was just so much stuff
exactly
that I didn't.
I tried so hard to just keep my eyes going at everything. If I had to give you like an idea for the audience, like what this set looked like, it was Waterworld without the water and just Christmas lights. They had a stoplight in there. There was a big lean on lights.
Actually, I think it'd be fun because I know like horror, like haunted houses, like recreate like sets and stuff. I'd love to see if there's one like this because I don't like that stuff. But I think I'd go through that.
Where
and then get chased by Leatherface.
Oh my god, that'd be horrifying if you that honestly.
I'm pretty sure that'd have to be the game. Like it'd be a Texas Chainsaw themed one. It'd be the catacomb thing.
It would be fun. It would be funny. Yeah. But she gets a glimpse of their living situation, which they're like they have multiple successful businesses, I guess, because they're rolling in it. They got a big dining table. There's lights.
Oh yeah,
everywhere.
The a lot bigger than.
Oh yeah.
Oh, imagine electricity bill.
I know, but like he has the money. He does, which is insane. But it turned into a stealth game the second she got out of that, because she was sneaking around for a solid minute, because parts are coming down on top of them, pretty much, like here and there from
kind of a hint that Lefty's getting closer.
And
which is funny that doesn't play up. Oh wait, no, it does play a part.
It does play a big part. Turned in a stealth game, and she
just runs by them, and they like barely catch a glimpse of her. And it's like, Dad's like, what was that?
Yeah, she makes a final dash, and the dad kind of catches a glimpse of her. Leatherface saw her earlier, though. Well, he knew it was her.
Yeah, he knows it's her, and he's kind of like panicking that they're gonna find her out.
Yeah, but she makes a mad dash, and she gets up to a higher level. A higher level, and Leatherface goes after her.
Yeah.
But we also then cut back to Lefty, who's still going through the catacombs, getting closer and closer.
Yeah, I got this in my notes. What did you put?
I put spoilers. Essentially. I feel like you have more information.
Oh no, I just put they kept Franklin's body, the guy in the wheelchair from the first movie.
Yeah. I just put I put that they found that Lieutenant Lefty finds Franklin, and that's where it's like hard revealed that.
I think it was kind of hinted that it kind of you can kind of like put together yourself that your brother's kids.
Yeah.
There were 2 siblings on there. He's probably he's the uncle.
But Lefty finds Franklin still in his wheelchair.
Still has the flashlight.
The
flashlight's on. So I feel like that's one they propped up, or back then batteries are just so good that they would last 10 years later.
So it would have to be Leatherface who set that one up, right?
Yeah.
Because he was the only one there to even be like, no.
Oh
flashlight has to be on.
I mean, Franklin's the only one that dies in that film that doesn't go looking, put himself in the situation where he shouldn't be there. All the other characters, they walk right into the house.
You're right, yeah.
They're about to walk towards the house, and Leatherface just happens to be there. You could even hear the chainsaw kind of revved in that scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're shouting for the other people,
And
which
then
kind of gives
hard
them away.
and
Poor Franklin.
poor Franklin, yeah.
But this drives Lieutenant Left to the brink of insanity. And at this point,
it's the fact that he knows they're dead, but the fact seeing that
it's these people that did it.
no, he knows they did it, but it's the fact that he see that they kept the body and just seeing like someone you cared about that they kept him
defiled. Yeah, so you may rest now. You may rest now, brother. That he says something to that effect of like,
yeah, he says you can rest now, and it's like I'm gonna
yeah, I'm gonna avenge you.
I'm gonna avenge you. I'm gonna get them all.
But we have that close call then with Lefty and Stretch.
Well, yeah, because at this point,
which I thought was beautiful writing.
At this point, Leatherface is chasing Stretch.
No, this is before that, a little bit before that. She's running through the catacombs. She kind of just wants to find a way out, and she has two paths to go. She looks one way, she looks the other way. She starts going the other way, and then she hears a chainsaw.
I did not catch that.
Which is Lefty. And she doesn't know Lefty has chainsaws. So she turns, she turns, and then Leatherface starts chasing her, and she starts going back towards Lefty.
Oh.
Remember? And then...
I didn't catch her even think of that. Like, oh, gee, she doesn't even know that Lefty's carrying chainsaws.
Exactly.
With him, so...
She freaks herself out with the fact that she sees,
she knows Leatherface has a chainsaw, you're hearing a chainsaw, it's like, he's there.
Yeah. But Leatherface starts chasing her, and she starts running, and collapses between her and Lefty, and she's cornered at this point.
They kind of put here the Lefty screwed over Stretch because he was cutting those pillars, and as soon as they get there, boom.
Yeah, she's trapped.
She's trapped now. Like they can't get to each other because they see each other. Because he's been cutting all the support beams, there's finally a collapse.
I really enjoyed that scene because she's like 2 foot away from that, and it's all coming down, and she's screaming like at the debris, and Leatherface is like 1 foot behind her, but doesn't want to kill her, so he's just kind of like standing there. I really enjoyed that because it's like the first time where it's like, oh, the killer could have totally got him right now.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for it.
I had to figure out what my notes meant, because I just have to hear Lefty screwed Stretch, and I was like, what does that mean?
Oh, yeah. But,
and then this is when she tries to break up with him.
Yeah, she tries to break up with Leatherface.
I put, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. This isn't gonna work, she says. And they're having...
This is when she gets captured.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, this is when they show up behind.
Leatherface was kind of poking her, too. It kind of was a breakup, and Leatherface was like, no, we can't break up. We can't. Poking her with the chainsaw. But yeah, the Chop Top and Drayton, start saying his name, Drayton Sawyer, come up, and Chop Top's kind of cool with it, which is funny.
I mean, Chop Top's more like comic, is like, oh, Leatherface killed her tonight.
Killed her once already.
Killed her once already, but she's here.
Yeah.
Crazy, huh?
Well, I'm guessing it's kind of implying that he's kind of also like a stoner-ish, because with hippie garb and all that. I
just put here because as they're talking and all that, Leatherface just has this like, oh, my parents are embarrassing face.
Yeah, I
put here meet the parents because he's kind of like, oh, like, you're embarrassing me.
Mm-hmm. It is very awkward for Stretch and Leatherface. But,
and this is, I put here, Drayton's like, the birds and the bees.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Leatherface doesn't know them. Because he even says, like, I'll tell you about the birds and the bees. And he's like, you could pick it, sex or the saw.
And that, right there, with that line is where, like, the name pun came into my head. Because they're the Sawyers.
Yeah.
I don't know why it took me that long to get it.
Well, this is the first time they've given a name.
Yeah, but even when it's revealed, I should have been like, oh, Sawyers, because chainsaws. But no, that's where it was like either saw or sex. But Leatherface, he can't do it. He can't kill her because that's what they want. They want him to kill her first.
Yeah.
And then they
They
decide
knock her out.
They decide to knock her out.
Recreation of the first.
I put that too as a rehash. Which one did you like better?
I like this one better.
Yeah, I was gonna say the first one is very intense. You kind of get in her head because like everyone's just like picking on her and stuff.
Well, I mean, there's so much strobing lights, and just like and just like close up on her face. And
yeah, exactly. It wants you
her.
to feel that panic, that fear, and all that.
And honestly, with that, do you feel that this is the same Leatherface? Because I'm thinking of when she's freaking out and crying, and the brother and them are like, "Oh!" Like they're mocking her.
Yeah, they're howling.
They're howling and like.
I think it is.
You kind of feel like you can buy the thing. This is the same Leatherface that was in the first movie.
Totally can, especially with that brother from the first movie. Hitchhiker. I'm gonna stop calling brother. You know, I'm gonna start saying their names. Hitchhiker.
We're never given their names.
Yeah, I want to say Hitchhiker and Leatherface were very close brothers. And then with his older brother, I'm assuming, well, maybe not to him, but other older brother, Chop Top.
Well, just imagine Leatherface is the youngest.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, because actually Chop Top says it's his younger brother.
Yeah.
He says, younger brother, bro. Love your show. Rhymes. But, with him being away from Nam, being away in Nam, and then coming back, he doesn't have that connection. But he is embarrassed by them even, like, goading on her and treating her weird.
So you think it's because there was a connection with this?
Yeah. It's his favorite.
Yeah.
It's like if you had a celebrity crush and then you somehow...
Yeah, Sally should have just tried flirting.
Yeah, if you had your celebrity crush at your house for family dinner and your family, like, not even like in a weird way, we're just like, oh, you know, fucking, you're Chompy's favorite, you know, loves you so much, all that. You'd be like, oh, fuck, God. Like, it's true.
You could see me blushing and just like... You know?
Yeah, dying in your seat.
I put here, Granddad is still alive.
Yeah.
And he has more life than ever.
Yeah.
He has more life than he did in that first one.
He is very animated. And in my head, I was like, oh, they've been doing this for 10 years. They've had 10 years of, like, victims and stuff. Maybe they were, like, actually kind of getting somewhere with their, like, blood sacrifices to him. Kind of thing, you know?
Maybe, yeah.
Like the more he sucks on blood, the more he is... Because in this, in itself, at first, he's almost like how he was in the first one. But after...
Well, he's got more life.
Yeah.
They had to hold the hammer for him in his hand.
But he drinks a little bit of Chop Top's blood, and that's where he gets up and moves around at one point in the movie. Like, it was kind of interesting to me that it seemed to be working.
This is my favorite note, just because you pointed it out. They got Big Red on the table. I'm just over here looking at my cats right now, Big Red. I don't know if you saw them.
Oh yeah, I forgot you had Big Red in the room. Yeah,
they got Big Red. They got taste, not just for human flesh, but for a good soda.
Oh, but the dinner scene in itself is a rehash of the first one. Like, almost beat by beat.
Yeah, especially because they say to bring her over so Granddad can kill her.
But it was very entertaining to watch Leatherface during all of it. I don't know if you were, but, Drayton tells Leatherface to bring her over, and he nods no. And then he, like, shrugs at, like, stuff that his father's saying to him and stuff, and he's like, no. He points at her because she's saying no, please, no, God, no.
She don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, what do you want me to do? Shrugs and all that. They have a kiss.
Oh yeah. Kiss her. I didn't write that in my notes.
It was a goodbye kiss.
Oh.
It wasn't even like a sexual kiss, like, because after that he brings her over.
Oh.
Because at that point he's like, I have to do it.
Yeah.
And we have the grandpa who's trying to.
He does it a lot better in this one.
He does it a lot better. They're
He's actually gripping it himself. The other one, they had to like hold it for him, and that's why Sally was able to escape, because they were all having to
help him.
Help her while trying to hold her down.
Yeah. I didn't write down my notes, but there is one take where he accidentally hits the actress. Yeah. I imagine they were trying to recreate the, like, swing down with the hammer and it falls in kind of thing. But he throws it and it straight on hits her in the head.
You think that was an accident?
It was purely an accident.
Why did you like see her like face expression like actually go like?
Well, you can't see her face because it's face down, but like it was purely accident because it leaves his hand and it's just like boink. It hits her hard, and I was like, "Oh!" But it's plastic. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I put here that the cook is okay with killing now.
Yeah.
Because he grabs the hammer and hits her too.
Yeah.
And before he did like, he
didn't enjoy the suffering.
He enjoys the suffering, but he doesn't take part in
doing
it. He
didn't find joy in killing.
Well, he doesn't enjoy doing the act himself.
Exactly.
But now he's here.
There was a twist on words that were said. Because I totally forgot about this until you mentioned that he mentions not taking part in the killing. In the first one, Hitchhiker says that him and Leatherface do all the work.
Yeah.
In this one, he says he has to do all the work. Which I thought was either a callback, a reference, or just a weird, like, coincidental writing thing.
It could be intentional.
Yeah.
I mean, with this whole reenactment, it could be very well intentional.
Very well intentional.
What they're doing here. And all I put in my notes right here with this next one is, I am here.
Yeah, I put the scarers get scared.
Oh, yeah, they hear him singing.
They hear him singing and the small hum of a chainsaw. And Lieutenant Lefty. Lefty's not his actual name, too, which is the funny. We do. When he's first introduced as Lieutenant Heinrill or something.
Or he tells Gary, you can call me Lefty.
Yeah. At this point, he's going... It's probably a reference to the Alamo, now that I'm thinking about it. Like the name Lefty, not Lieutenant Lefty, because he's a lieutenant. But Lefty is here. Fucking ready to fucking go. And
I put food. You said food fight at some point. What was that scene when?
Oh, because Lieutenant Lefty approaches, and at this, he doesn't see Stretch.
Oh, I remember now.
Yeah.
I remember.
He doesn't see Stretch, and Drayton, the father, approaches Lefty, and kind of seeing... Who the fuck are you? Who sent you?
Taco Bell sent you?
He's in the burrito, like the burrito town.
Like food.
Yeah, he's like, did the burrito town boys send you? And he tries to pay off Lefty.
Yeah.
With a good chunk of money.
Yeah, we find out that, these side businesses are going very well for him.
Do you think he pays off other people as well? Because the fact that he jumps to that gives me, like, an inclination that he possibly pays off the cops to kind of look away from his business in general.
I guess maybe that could explain why the dude was so eager to try to get Lefty, like, out of there.
Yeah, off the case. But, Lefty sees that they have Princess. He calls her Princess, right? Stretch. And at that point, no money in the world's gonna make me turn away from this fight.
Yeah. Leatherface and them start fighting, but the rest of them kind of book it.
Yeah.
But I love, because you laughed right here, Chop Top gives Grandpa the hammer before he takes off.
Yeah, because it's still his grandpa. But I was gonna say, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I can't believe they didn't do this in the first movie. What would be the coolest thing with Leatherface? Obviously.
A chainsaw fight?
Obviously a chainsaw fight.
Well, this one's entirely different mood, man.
I know. And
there wasn't even a second chainsaw in that movie.
Yeah.
That we saw that, like, would be available to grab to fight Leatherface off.
Wasn't in the budget for a second chainsaw. But it was incredible. Like, it started getting hectic from here.
Yeah.
But,
this is when I, like, noticed that The corpse is drinking Big Red.
The corpse
Through a like
bendy
twirly
straw.
bendy straw.
Lefty wounds the father.
Yeah, in the ass.
Gets him in the gets the jewels too.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what
He seemed very maybe all that adrenaline he wasn't feeling the pain yet.
Yeah, that was like the thing he was saying is like says something about a little bit of pain, then he checks and he's like, oh, that's
like how bad is it?
That's not good for the jewels, is
Oh,
what he
gee.
says. Yeah. He goes underneath the table. Leatherface and Lefty fight on top of the table, which I really liked.
I put here Lefty and Bloodborne. Because he's fighting him and he's ducking Leatherface and chainsaw. I'm like, oh damn,
he doesn't get caught once.
No, he doesn't get hit.
He doesn't get hit. But Stretch runs after being freed, and
she's ready to just get the hell out.
Yeah, she's ready to get the hell out. Chop Top faces her, which I liked. Every family member got to do something, at least in this movie. And then Lefty practically wins the fight with Leatherface.
He does. He gets him straight in the gut.
Straight in the gut, leaves the chainsaw there, but the fight still keeps going.
He stabs the big chainsaw, then he takes out his dual.
Yeah. I like how Leatherface let him rev those up, too. He goes... Revs up both the chainsaws, and, like, the fight continues. But, the Father Drayton...
Yeah?
Decides it's time for the fuck you, Charlie. Grabs a corpse from underneath the table, wearing army tans.
Was it?
Yeah, it was wearing army tans.
Oh.
So it like had a marker pretty much to be like it's that one. Grabs it, searches through the army tan jacket, and pulls out an F1 hand grenade.
You know, I'm glad you're here because I would just feel like you a grenade.
Yeah,
I don't know the specific.
A full-on fragmentation F1 grenade. It had a little piece of string and a note attached to it. I wanted so bad for the camera to show what that note said, but it didn't. And maybe if you go back and you go frame by frame, you can read it. But he pulls the pin and he's holding on to it.
I think Leatherface accidentally gets the grandpa.
Yeah.
Because I put friendly fire again here.
No. Grandpa accidentally gets Leatherface.
Oh!
The grandpa, with hammer in hand, stands up from his wheelchair. He's behind Lefty. Lefty's in the middle. Leatherface is on the other side. And Grandpa decides this is his moment. Maybe he doesn't like killing women. You ever think about that? Maybe Grandpa doesn't like killing, because he fucking.
They said he's the best at it.
He's the best at it, but Grandpa gives it a good fucking chuck, and Lefty sidesteps it or just like ducks coincidentally.
Yeah, it misses Lefty
and hits Leatherface in the face. He falls, and that's where the chainsaw goes through the table and kills Father Drayton, who then drops the fuck you, Charlie, the F1 hand grenade. And that's where I wrote off-screen deaths. Then we cut back to Stretch.
Because the explosion happens and we never go back to that room.
Never go back to that room. Oh, I need to amend this number. So there are 4 off-screen deaths at this moment in time. Where
4. Lefty, Drayton. Okay, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah. And we cut back to Stretch being chased by
Chop
Top.
I just put here steep stairs because it looked weird, because when it did a zoom out, it looked like those stairs were on a freaking mountain.
It pretty much was.
On like a steep hill.
It was a spire. It really reminded me of
it looked like stairs that were like slanted. Almost diagonal.
Yeah. It's so insane how much the set design reminds me of Waterworld. I hate to keep mentioning it, but I swear to God, like grates, like dingy, weird construction, all that. Chop Top's slashing at her with the barber knife to get to the top. And the movie, you feel like, has run out of everything. Hits you with one last little oomph. With a shrine with a chainsaw on it. It's not revealed yet what it is or what it's all about.
Who the corpse is, you don't know
yeah,
that
with
yet.
the corpse. But that was honestly mesmerizing shot, all that. They're having a back and forth, fighting a little bit. And Stretch.
No, the second he gets up there and sees she's there, it's like, you get away from her.
Yeah, okay.
And then she grabs the chainsaw.
Grabs the chainsaw. And it's revealed to be their grandma.
Yeah.
And taking the chainsaw away kills her because she's like melded to.
I think she was already dead.
I am
think that
pretty
was just
sure
like
she was already dead in his mind, kind of thing. But
and then she's trying to rev the chainsaw up while Chop Top is taking swings at her.
yeah,
and I just put. I'm trying to get this achievement and I'm just getting hit. You know, because you ever play those games when it's like land this specific technique and you're trying to land that technique, and because you're trying to do that specific technique
you
and
keep
not
getting
just
hit.
anything,
Yeah.
you take a lot of damage.
Yeah.
That's what I put. I gotta get I need to kill him with the chainsaw. If I don't get the achievement.
Yeah, she's revving up the chainsaw, and to me, it made perfect sense because he's just in pure bloodlust right now.
Yeah, he's just
wounding her
just like
his
his brother, just taking like swipes at her.
Yeah, swipes and all that, and then she finally gets it revved, and he backs away immediately.
Yeah,
immediately. Well, also his brother's Leatherface. Oh, is the damage that can be done, but. Mind is so foggy right there at the ending.
How she kills him?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Like exactly how she kills him.
I find foggy too.
She gets him with the chainsaw.
She does get him with the chainsaw. I think it's just a gut. I think it's a stab.
And he falls off.
Yeah.
The big pyre, and this is where the 5th on-screen death comes in, because he falls down a pipe, a very conveniently placed pipe. On. And then we have the best goddamn hard cut ever to a film, where Stretch is at the top of this mountain thing with a revved up chainsaw, and she's swinging it exactly like
triumphant
that.
Though.
Yeah, triumphantly. No, she's just screaming.
It seems like she's like. It seems more like a yeah.
She's doing that, and then she starts
does the
swinging it around. She's twirling. She's imitating Leatherface in that, which is so weird to me.
But Leatherface in the first one, it seemed like he was swinging it out of frustration because he's swinging it with one hand.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely triumph. But she is just so happy with herself.
Yeah, she lived.
Yeah, and it just slow pan out.
And
hard cut ending. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yeah, which... I'm gonna say this is probably my favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I'm gonna watch this goddamn movie every Halloween.
Yeah.
It is that good. I fully recommend, if you're wanting to get into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, watch this one last. Even though we spoiled the entire thing, watch all the other ones, get the droll out, and then once your mind has forgotten everything that we've said, come back. Watch this movie.
Yeah.
You will laugh. You will get scared. It is.
Especially one I'd probably love to watch is super drunk on a Halloween.
Yeah. Oh my god. It'd be so good.
Yes, it has such a different flavor from the first one, but it's so good too because it does a new thing. It doesn't try to recreate the first movie. Like, oh, here's another group of unfortunate friends that run into the Sawyer family.
3 victims. If you're not counting the first 2. So if we're counting the first 2, it's 5 victims in total, which lines up with the first movie. Weirdly enough.
I wasn't really counting deaths, to be honest.
Yeah, 1, 2, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 characters essentially killed by the family. Many more implied. So it's the same, not even the same formula. I can't even say the same formula.
It's not the same formula.
It's the same homework, but they came out with better test results.
It gives every character has actual character. You know, I was about to call her Sally, but Stretch has a very she's She pursues the stuff she wants.
She's not exactly a damsel in distress either
No.
in this movie whatsoever.
I mean, maybe towards the end, but she does like redeems herself once she gets her hands on a weapon.
I feel like she redeems herself a lot throughout the movie, following them, the whole stealth part. Uh, Even when she's getting got, she doesn't just kind of like let it happen. She's actively
That's
trying
why
to
I
do
put like
something.
she's trying to get that achievement, and
Yeah.
she can't get that combo in, and it's screwing her over.
Yeah. Does it change the lore of Texas Chainsaw Massacre a little bit? Yes, but it
Not
also
entirely,
feels like it adds on to it more
because
than
I felt
anything.
like the cook, Drayton, still felt like the same character he was in the
Uh-huh.
first movie,
Uh-huh.
complaining about everything and how
Mhm.
all these boys are just
Always.
doing it. And even says like because what they did. Honestly, yeah, it seems like Leatherface and his brothers just kind of go off on their own sometimes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you guys killed those two, and the radio station lady got it. Like, you're gonna cost me $1,000.
Yeah, I'm assuming to cover it up.
So you think it's all hush money?
I feel like he pays them to just like kind of because like if you think about it, police arrive on the scene, saw marks everywhere, kind of pays them to be like it's not a Texas Chainsaw
I
Massacre
don't
like
think he knew the
10
attack
years
though.
ago. Yeah, you're right. Maybe he even told them to. They only do it after they tell him. They don't immediately go and do it.
Oh, to go after
Yeah,
Stretch.
to go after Stretch.
Yeah.
Um, do we want to start doing ratings now?
I mean, I think the best rating that I've seen is for Double Toasted. They have for the lowest is like this is dog shit.
Uh-huh.
They have rental, matinee, full price,
Oh,
and then better than
gotcha.
sex. Yeah, that's their highest one. That they
Yeah.
give like movies that
Yeah, no,
like
I'm giving this a better than sex.
yeah.
This is every Halloween. This is a must watch, must own, must have on hand. If anyone's like, I feel like watching a horror movie, you go. I got the one for you. We should rank these.
Should rank though. I mean, this
Yeah.
one's going on top.
Well, exactly, but maybe one of the other ones will kind of beat it out. But honestly,
No,
okay, but sure.
no.
I'm gonna keep a ranking. So I'm not gonna rank the first one because the first one's just a baseline. And we're putting Texas Chainsaw Massacre at number one. Not because it's the best one, because it's the only one so far. I might change this around, as we go.
Yeah.
Might know.
So, do you want to count all of them together, or just the just the requels they do?
I'm gonna just do the requel,
All
right?
right.
We were talking a little bit about adding a couple more to the wheel. Do we want to do that? Or were we saying
Or you said
after
after we finish the requels,
Leatherface?
we'll watch the other ones, the other movies that are in the franchise that aren't really connected to the first one, and
Exactly.
because three, like here, it's just very much its own thing. The same with four.
Yeah, we're doing homework or maybe we're studying. We're studying so we can judge.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready to spin the wheel on the next one?
Okay, Wheel of Massacre. Let's fucking go.
I hope it doesn't just end up on Texas 2 again, because that's still in here. 2016.
Texas 2016.
Which is very ironic that we got it in chronological order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it wasn't like, oh, we watched the newest. It's not like, oh, we got 2022 first, so we watched the newest one that's supposed to be the direct sequel, and then went back. Now it was like, first one that came out, okay, now this one gets retconned. The first one happened, but this is a direct follow up.
Okay. I didn't really see any retcons in this.
But no, I mean.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I'm keeping that in my mind for future retcons.
Because the 2016 one opened actually has. The beginning clips are the first movie.
That might be the one I've seen.
Yeah, probably.
Well, our next episode's gonna be really interesting, isn't it?
But yeah, look forward to that. I kind of want to get drunk for for that one, just so I have more enjoyment of it. Like I said, it's kind of meh.
Yeah.
And plus, coming off of this, I'm gonna be like,
We didn't even talk about
the
the gore in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's all around. Gosh, there's so much about this that I loved. It is a big step up, and I'm ready to start stepping down.
All right.
That's all I'm ready for.
Honestly, I kind of wish we would have stepped down. Maybe then did a step up, then another step down.
Yeah, we were. Did we mention that halfway through this movie that you were disappointed we got this one?
Yeah.
Like once you realized kind of what we were witnessing.
It was like, I love this one so much. I'm disappointed it was the first one we got.
Yeah.
Because 2016, I remember it being alright, but it's nothing like this. It's leans definitely more into the horror.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, here's some funny bits, some wacky characters. Like, I'm pretty sure freaking Lefty would fit in Blazing Saddles if he was there.
Oh, Blazing Saddles. He'd fit in Die Hard.
Die Hard.
It very was much the trope of 80s action hero.
Yeah, what kind of horror movies were coming out in the 80s?
What horror movies were coming?
Trying to think of what was like coming out, because usually they come out like, okay, this is popular right now, we're gonna
Aliens.
do these kind of.
I think Alien, right? Aliens is.
No, seeming very. We got Beetlejuice, Gremlins, Halloween 4. Wait, never mind. That's naming a bunch of freaking movies.
Halloween.
I'm pretty sure there was some Halloween.
Smile.
50 best movies that came out in the 80s.
Huh. This is kind of the bad part about being semi-young but kind of old, right?
I'm not recognizing any.
Oh, let me see.
But now I found one. Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn?
80s.
Okay, 84, 2 years before.
An American Werewolf in London.
Very good movie. Very good. Psychological.
Child's Play would come out 2 years after this.
Interesting. Set us
Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead also 2 years after this.
Okay.
I guess there isn't very much of a.
Horror wasn't as big.
Well, no, no, not like all the horror films coming out at this time were like wacky and they seemed very like.
When did Waterworld come?
Is that not a place?
No, you're thinking of SeaWorld. Waterworld.
No, I thought maybe it was like a freaking water park or something.
I don't have my phone. Search up word Waterworld.
Is Waterworld a horror film?
No, it's not a horror film. It's like a sci-fi adventure thriller.
1995.
1995.
With Kevin Costner.
Have you never seen Waterworld?
No, I've never seen Waterworld.
You should see Waterworld.
I should watch Waterworld.
Waterworld was so good, they started doing plays of Waterworld, like at SeaWorld, where they have a giant pool with a big set in the middle, and they would recreate like the entire movie on this set. And they would like ride around on jet skis and stuff. Really good.
Yeah. I did not realize how freaking late it is.
Yeah, it is late.
It's like 2 a.m. right now. I feel wide awake.
Yeah.
What the hell?
But what we're gonna do is we're gonna hopefully not die this episode, right? Come in with a chainsaw. I don't even chainsaw your door down. I just walk through the wall.
I don't know. Your gain is hefty as Leatherface.
I mean, it's drywall. It's drywall.
I mean, I think maybe you can bust through that door easy.
Well, maybe you'll set up like Lefty. Go to the store, buy yourself 2 chainsaws and 1 big boy. You'll be prepared.
Yeah.
But this was the Tinkle podcast with our little special sequelitis, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I hope to see you next time where we get to watch. Is it just called Texas Chainsaw 2016?
I think it's just called Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Texas. Maybe there's the in there.
Can I just call it the Texas?
I actually think, hang on, we've got the screen. I actually think, because I know they're both on here. Yeah, it's just Texas Chainsaw.
Oh my god. Okay. Find us next episode where we will probably be wasted from the horrors of Texas Chainsaw 2016. Thank you.